Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed those songs and being led in prayer by Keith. Thanks again, Keith. We now just have, this week is just one announcement, isn't it? The walk today. Unless you happen to be watching this on Saturday night, but if you're watching it on Sunday, this afternoon, the walk, a women to women walk happening at Valentine. The details are in the church bulletin, so take a look at that. Get down there, start stretching, limbering up. I don't know. You'll be right. You'll have a great time. And if you are not keen on walking, I believe there's two options for walking, and then there's
just
an afternoon tea option as well. So it'll be lovely for the women to have a social event again. We had some go-karting the other week, and my body's, I think, recovered from it now.
Almost.
That was
brutal.
It was brutal. That is an excellent word to use, Warren. That it was brutal. Not the people against each other, just the physical exertion of it. I underestimated what it would be like. But Warren, we're just talking before, you sharing a little bit about your journey here, and I thought that might be a helpful thing to actually hear. So can you very briefly tell us of your journey to Cardiff Heights Baptist Church?
My journey to become a pastor happened when I was about 18, and you may guess that was a few years ago. And through that, I was in another church in Sydney called Wentworthville Baptist, and I got to volunteer as a youth and young adults worker for many, many years, and eventually took that on as a recognised role with the Baptist Association. And we were down there for about 3 years. At the end of that period, my beautiful wife, Jeanette, was just encouraging me that I had spoken to her about the longing or the feeling or the yearning that God had placed on my heart to be in a more full-time ministry role. And she kind of gave me what's called the gentle nudge, or one might say the gentle kick. And once that happened, I started praying to God to give me some clear direction. And I was a carpenter, worked with my brother for 27 years. So I was pretty settled in what I was doing, enjoyed the work. But that unsettling that God placed in my heart was prompted by, we were away, and I was asked if I'd like to look at another role somewhere else. And we thought, if this must be God's prompting. And we did a 3-month journey, which ended with, they wanted me for the role, but I just knew it wasn't what God wanted me to do. Bizarrely enough, but we just felt an unsettledness. It just wasn't the right opportunity. But at the end of that, we found a role was available up here at Cardiff Heights Baptist in Newcastle. We went to that interview. It was a great success of an interview. It was an encouraging interview. We had a few laughs and a few giggles. And at the end of that, I still felt some uncertainty for myself. And I spoke to Jeanette, and our wives are very wise. We should listen to them more often.
They are very wise.
And she just said to me, what was the key criteria you wanted to go into full-time pastoral ministry? And I said, well, being settled, knowing that this was God's call. And I went, oh yeah. And the light came on, and the rest is history. We've been here for 11 and a bit years now, loving working as a youth and young adults, have the privilege of working in lots of areas of ministry. So
there was a settledness, a peace that you had about the move that God gave you, that this is where He wanted you to be.
And it was just, it did. It was just this really clear path that my personality and my human nature kind of tried to draw a few other areas, but God had that clear path, and it was awesome to follow.
Lovely. Well, thank you for sharing that, Warren, because it is good to share our journeys of faith with one another, and particularly as we're looking at Ruth and we see this journey that Naomi and Ruth and Boaz effectively go on together, and we are kind of witness to this story of seeing their own journey in life and of faith as well, and Naomi's up and down of kind of where our emotions are, that we can see God's at work. And we're going to see that again today in the passage and in the message as we explore it later together. And then we've got the unconventional evening gathering again tonight, and Warren's going to be doing the devotion then. So we look forward to that. And perhaps we'll hear a bit more about how God's been at work now or in the past. So yeah, we're going to continue with the service, and what we've got now is two kids elements to the service. So first of all, we've got a kids song, and then we've got a kids talk, and both of those are from Colin Buchanan. He's produced a lot of extra kind of material at the moment during the kind of pandemic period, Colin at home type stuff. But he's also, I think, gone into his archives and found a lot of old good stuff, and he's put that up onto YouTube. And so we're going to look at two things that he has recently put up. I did get confused with one of them. I thought it might have been the shipwreck on Stockton Beach.
But you know what? I think we should put the challenge out there.
Yes.
I know a lot of our church folk have done lots of journeying around Australia. If you can email us at cardiffhicebaptist.org.au, either Glenn or Warren.Moore.
Yes.
And we would love to know which beach it's on.
And say which beach it is. I don't think it's Stockton Beach.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I was totally thinking it was there, and then there's a footage at the end, and I think it's not there. So perhaps don't email in going, oh, that's Stockton Beach.
Yeah, it's already crossed off.
Anyway, enjoy those things, and you will see us back after that. So over to Colin.